Recording?
Yeah, you're not a Mac guy, are you?
I'm not a computer guy. I don't know anything about them.
He won't do a fucking iPhone.
He's got an Android and PCs, right?
I'm stuck in the 90s, dude. I'm good. All right. All right, welcome to, I mean, is this even a podcast series? Have we even been introducing You Are Not Normal? I don't know if we have or not. But anyway, this is my good friend Terry Thayer that we've done a couple videos now. This is the third video in a 3-video series. The first video, if you guys haven't checked it out yet, is a real fun one. It's about, 40, 50 minutes long. We talk about a lot of social issues and it gets really funny. And then we go into your story, your backstory, how you got into real estate and building and wholesaling. The second video was all about wholesaling. And you had a great wholesaling company, a coaching program, got burned out on it. And now here we are to present day. You are doing new builds, focusing on new builds. It's, as we explain and you say all the time, it's more money for less work. And I think we're both at a time in our lives where we're like, that sounds so appealing, right? Because we both grinded in all these different businesses. And it's like, how do we make the same amount or more money and freeing up our time? I mean, you have a family, you have kids, you want to spend time with them. We're not getting any younger. It's like, do we want to just work ourselves to death the rest of our lives? Like probably our dads and our grandfathers did, or can we, stop chasing this shiny object or stop chasing, whatever clout we're trying to get and just focus on one thing that makes a lot of money that doesn't take a shitload of our time. Yeah. And for you, that's new builds and developing. And now you're teaching it, which I think when I first saw you put that out on Instagram, I was really excited for it because I'm like, Terry hasn't been coaching for a while. And I'm lucky enough to have you as a friend. So when I'm running into situations, I can call you and say, dude, can you help me with this GIS? I don't know.
We broke that down several
times. I've learned so much from you. But not everybody has Terry Thayer's cell phone number that can just call or text you. But you do have a program that you just came out with teaching building from the ground up. Yeah. And I was on the first Zoom you did talking about it, and you break it down so I don't know I was going to say elementary, but it's not elementary because it's high level, but it seems elementary because it's so simple. And you systematize everything, and everything's a process, and that's how you do your coaching and your teaching and your courses and how you explain things. So I think everybody on that call, even though it was like a short call and it was an introductory of what you're going to have to offer, a lot of people probably went away from that call, me included, of like, man, I can actually do this. Because it does seem like a scary thing to start building from the ground up. Like, to me, it always has been. But it's just because I haven't done it yet. And when you learn from somebody like yourself that's been doing it forever and mastered it and is still doing it, which is key when you're looking for a coach or you're looking for a mentor, somebody to learn from, make sure you're vetting that person and make sure they're doing the shit. Because we see a lot of it in wholesaling where people try to teach it. They haven't fucking wholesaled a deal, talked to a seller or a buyer in fucking a decade.
Or they did one deal and now
they're a master at it, So it's like,
so true.
You gotta vet who you're learning from on social media, buying courses from, hiring as a mentor. And right now in the building side of real estate from the ground up, I mean, you're the only guy in the industry who's doing it and teaching it now. So why don't you let the audience know what the program consists of and kind of what the projects you personally are doing now, how you're qualified to teach it, and what the program is for everybody.
Yeah, let's start with qualified. So I've been doing this for, I guess we're creeping up on 25 years. Over 20 years, I've been building new construction. Prior to that, I was in exteriors, carpentry. At one point in time, I was like I would consider myself a master carpenter. Being able to build and finish furniture and anything. Like, there was nothing I couldn't build. So have all that expertise and time that I've been doing this. And, there's many years that I did it. I don't want to say it the wrong way, but the hard way. And I think, in your intro of this video talking about a few things, it's like you start to everything starts to change. Your thinking starts to change when you realize that tomorrow's not promised, right? And it's like my sister just suddenly passed away, right? No clue, just went to sleep, didn't wake up. Like that can happen to any one of us. And when you have a family, you have kids, and you have desires and things that you want to do, right? And a legacy that you still need to leave. Like I'm training my daughter every day. My daughter's into business. My son's right now, he's going into high school. I've got 4. So I have, this is the way I look at it. Like people are like, oh, when are you going to retire? Like, here's the whole thing. I need to spend 4 years with my son. Okay. So 8 years from now is my minimum when I can actually retire. Will I retire? Will I hang it up? Heck no. That's why I see people die.
People only retire when they have jobs.
Yeah, when they have jobs. Like,
yeah, we don't retire.
No, I mean, I couldn't imagine not doing some types of deal. Am I going to slow down? Am I going to do less? Am I going to create more freedom for myself? Absolutely. But I'm going to spend the next 4 years with my daughter. She's already gotten 2 years, so she gets a bonus because they're so much apart. So getting her into the business, making sure that she has financial freedom. She knows how to build. She knows how to real estate, all this stuff. Then my son graduates from high school. Obviously, we'll have time in between. Give him 4 years, maybe only 2. We'll see. But then, that's the time. So, starting off with that, like as you go through all of these years, you start to figure out how to simplify things and how to systematize things. So when you're doing that and you're documenting it, and then you have people who are constantly, you're talking about it or you're doing it. And because I've been in the coaching world, that now people are reaching out and being like, hey, why are you not teaching this? Like people have been saying this for years. I don't know why I didn't. I mean, I probably should have started teaching that 10 years ago. And I probably would still continue to be doing it versus teaching all the other aspects of real estate I never touched on my main thing. Right. So then starting to reach out about these different things, and I decided that, okay, you know what? Let's put it together. So I wrote out, took every single document that we have, polished it up a little bit more, and we put this program out together. So that's how that all came about. What we're doing today, pretty cool and interesting things. Finishing up a bunch of projects in downtown Raleigh, all $1 million, 3-story rooftop, downtown, amazing views. Finishing up that project right now.
How many was there?
12.
And how many have you sold?
None.
Oh, none.
None.
Are they just getting finished?
They're just getting finished. We just put everything over to a different realtor. We were going to take a bunch of them down. We're going to take fewer of them down. The market is a little weird right now for that particular type of buyer and price range. So none are sold. We're starting to gain a lot of interest based on what we're currently doing.
And then keep a couple. Take down, you mean keep a couple for like Airbnb?
Airbnb. So we turned our model home into an Airbnb a couple of weeks ago.
You guys stayed in it.
And we stayed in it before the first guest actually to test it out.
Which is smart to do.
And that was 2-3 weekends ago.
Yeah.
We've already generated over $8,000 this month on our very first month with this property, and we're halfway through the month.
That's great.
Yeah. So I wanted to test the market. Is this a good Airbnb? So the answer is yes.
Yes, absolutely. Well, people want to be near downtown or in the mountains or by the beach. Yeah. And these properties are downtown. They're badass. They're 3 stories with rooftops. Yeah. Like it's such a cool concept, and they're cool, nice houses. So if you're looking at staying at a hotel for $400 a night or stay in your own house with a rooftop and all that, it's like I'm going with the Airbnb every day.
So we're getting people, let's say last weekend was somebody came in for a wedding or something, wedding shower or something. This weekend, they don't live that far. Like the other people flew in. These people live in like Sanford. I don't know, something within 45 minutes, an hour away. If I remember correctly, it's his wife's birthday. They wanted to celebrate, hang out downtown. So they booked the place for 4 nights. They wanted something cool experience. And so those are the type of guests that we're getting.
That's great.
Yeah. So next weekend we have somebody else. But it's pretty wild. I mean, we're talking about like $600 a night. We have, my wife runs all that. She's amazing with all that.
Yeah.
She has a software that adjusts all the pricing.
Yep.
And there's actually somebody reaching out, I think next month, either July or August, and it's like over $1,000 a night, and they're talking about booking like 6 nights.
Yeah.
Because of something going on. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, maybe a holiday, 4th of July, something.
Whatever it is. Yeah, I think it's, yeah. So I don't think it was a holiday. I think there's like something going on in downtown Raleigh.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, so.
That's great.
So that's with those. The cool thing is, all 100% of all of our projects that we have getting ready to start are in Durham. So 30 something, I don't even know how many, because it keeps multiplying. And I'll explain. You heard on the Zoom, it actually got better since that Zoom call.
Because of how you split the lots.
There's another one that I found out some more information on, so that we could split those. So those turned from 4 to 8.
God, I just talked. There's somebody in our coaching program that is solely in the Asheville market here in North Carolina, and that he builds, he rehabs, all that, and he specializes in finding those deals where a house is on a decent sized lot, and he
split them.
He splits them, and will sell the rehab property and build a new house on the vacant lot, and that he netted like $2 million last year doing that.
So that's all we do.
Yeah.
We just split and find out. That's all we're doing right now. Like I kind of jump around with a couple of different products, but that's what I focus on, because it's great when you could take a lot or buy one house and turn it into 8. You know, so like, and it's about knowing the UDO and GIS, and we break all this down and simplify it all. But yeah, we have about 30 something lots. We're at a weird space right now where I'm finishing these up, and I probably don't have any new starts. I'm not going to start any more until about September. So we're going to have a few months with nothing, which I never recommend that. And I typically never have had, and I can't tell you how many years I've never had that happen. Or I haven't had that happen at all. The reason why is because in December, Durham came out with this new thing called SCAD. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole of that, which allows more density. So having to learn SCAD and what you can do with it, and kind of like, it's a brand new kind of, I always call it a program, but it's a brand new text in the UDO, and it's not very black and white yet. It's still gray. So there's a lot of going back and forth asking questions. And when I just told you, we just found out since that we can go from 4 to 8, is because it was gray on the UDO, but after sending a couple emails back and getting clarity, we now just doubled our lots right there, which is cool, because at the one house, they were about 150, and at 2 of them, because my lot costs an expense and a couple things, now I have 2 at 150. So I literally just doubled my profit on every single one of those.
Yeah. So you got 30 something lots right now. And if you wait till December with this new program.
No. This was last December.
Oh, okay.
So point is, I waited because I knew SCAD was coming.
Understood.
And so it kind of gave us.
So it's already happened, and that's how it all
created
multiplied.
A gap because I waited for these. Otherwise, we would have the same momentum going. But I waited because just for an example, had I not waited on this one, I would have only built 3. Now we're building 8.
Yeah, I mean so waiting, it definitely paid off.
Yeah, it totally paid off. So it's
no brainer.
Kind of knowing how to do all.
But
that stuff.
that's what I'm so impressed with you about, is whenever I talk to you about this kind of stuff, you're so knowledgeable when it comes to GIS and splitting lots and utilities and the size of lot you need and how much front facing real estate and the easements you need on either side to build this house. It's like, that's the stuff that I think people get intimidated by when they want to build a house. It's
I can show you how simple it is to find information like that.
It's so simple, right? But nobody teaches it. Right. So when people start doing it, they're either already like, huge flippers, or they've already been a GC and they're doing something. But like somebody who's just getting into the real estate business, they're wholesaling, they're flipping a couple deals here and there, they're hiring the GCs. Like, you can also get a lot and build a new house, or buy a tear it down, build a new house. You can buy a flip on a big piece of land, split the lot, sell the rehab, and use that money to build on the other lot. Like you can do this without a lot of experience with the right coaching and the right mentor, because you break it down so well, and it isn't as big and scary as people think it is, right?
Yeah. The other cool thing about this is even for wholesalers.
Of course it is.
Because all the time, wholesalers sending me lots. They have no information. They don't know what they're doing. Either they're trying to oversell it or they're way underselling it. Like, I've gotten deals from wholesalers like, hey, send me this lot, like $100,000. I'm like, you could have sold this to me for $250. Literally. If
you understand the strategy,
it would have been a great deal. So showing people how to find these opportunities, how to split these opportunities. And even if you take it all the way through and you sell it as individual lots, you just gave yourself a big raise right there.
I'm so glad you said that. That's such an important piece of this, where say I'm a wholesaler and I get a ton of these land deals and I don't know how to analyze them. Like, how much money are you leaving on the table? How many deals have you passed up because you weren't educated?
Yeah.
If you go through a program where you understand how to analyze the data, analyze the lot, know the due diligence, know the things you need to look at, the people you need to call, the things you need to do to get it ready for a builder even. Yeah. Like, how much more money could you make just wholesaling or selling that deal when you understand the exit strategy, which is something I talk about all the time when it comes to flipping, market analysis, buy and hold, like novation, sub to creative, all these different exit strategies. This is just another exit strategy you need to know as a wholesaler so you can make more money just in your wholesaling business.
And
nobody's teaching it.
What's crazy is that having just a little bit of information, you can go on GIS, and GIS is basically let's call it like almost like a Google Earth view, but broke down, like, let's say, not as seeing trees and all that, but just kind of outlines of lots and stuff like that. And you can put layers and see all these different things. So you can literally figure out what zoning you can maximize density on. Go on GIS, scroll around, find the bigger lots, reach out to those people, and what you can offer them. Maybe a normal person be like, oh, I can't do this deal because I can probably only offer them $150,000 if it's a flip, sell it for $170, make my 20, then the rehabber makes that. Well, I can offer them probably $250, get the property, outbid this person, split this into 6-7 different lots, and make $1 million just on the dirt because I pulled the whole thing in.
Paying $100,000 more than somebody else would offer on it.
Exactly.
Imagine having that power.
Exactly.
And that knowledge.
Pay more and make more.
Right.
Yeah. So I took the other day, and this is before the 4, by the way, that I can split. So prior to that, I took all of our lots and I said, if I were to just get every single one of these to a point where I can hand them over to a builder, I even get the permits, I have the plans, the engineering, everything. And I say, sell it to a builder, transfer the contractor, do a contractor change. So immediately they could start next day. They could dig footers the very next day, bring in water and sewer, everything. If I did that, I figured out a quick profit. I've got almost $3 million worth of profit right there.
Without even building a house.
Without even building on them. So, like, my point to wholesalers, like, you can, and that's in less than or around 30 deals, whatever it is. It's a little bit less, a little bit over 30 deals. So
that's crazy.
And you guys are doing what, 30 deals a month?
I mean, we're locking up 50 contracts, probably
closing,
selling about 20 of them, 20 to 25.
25 deals a month. For what kind of numbers? I think you guys did what?
Yeah, we
3 million last year.
Yeah, 3.6 million.
Okay, so 3.6. So I can take 1 month, a little bit more than 1 month's worth of deals, work on them for a fraction of the amount of time because it doesn't take that much time. I mean, it takes time, but my personal time to split them and do all this stuff. It's just the knowledge that I have,
right?
And it can make almost that same much just selling the dirt, not even building them.
That's
you know
crazy.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of things opportunities and it's not everywhere. Like I'm talking to somebody there in Louisiana. You can't make that much money in Louisiana. So it's different parts of the country.
Different parts, yeah.
You know, right here in North Carolina, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, you know, Virginia, different places, especially in the Northeast.
Yeah, you got to know your market. You got to know what you're looking at. You still got to know the data, obviously. It's not just going to happen in a rural area outside of fucking Columbus, Ohio. Like you need to know what's going on in that market, how, you know, where the builders are, what they're looking for, what the end buyer's looking for, and analyze it, kind of reverse engineer it of like, if they build this on the property, they can, you know, get this for it on the retail market. So let me reverse engineer, and now I know how much I can sell these lots for, which people just have such a hard time with that. There's always people asking me, how do you comp land? How do you comp lots? And it's like, I can kind of explain it where I feel confident I'm giving good value, but nothing like you do. Obviously, I mean, you get it down to like the penny almost of like, this is exactly how you do it. And with splitting lots and stuff like that, it's like, I mean, I know you can do it, but it's like, I just don't have the knowledge yet to be able to do it.
I mean, there's an exact formula for figuring out how much you need to pay, how much a builder will pay for a lot, like the mail for builders. That's basically what it is. And you know, without going into the whole details, is 20% is the max. If you were the wholesaler and you were doing all the work, just like I explained, $3 million of net profits, what we would make roughly, you know, obviously it's projected on all of the deals that we currently have if I'd never build on them. So a wholesaler can come through and do that exact same thing. Oh my God, I just lost my train of thought.
No, you were saying, yeah, the wholesaler can come in and do the exact same thing with the knowledge that they know how to reverse engineer it, because you know at the 20%, kind of 20%
20%,
rule.
yeah, the 20%. So what I'm getting at is 20%. And in all reality, when I'm building on these things, I'm more like 10, 15 max. But if I was buying from a wholesaler that was handing me that package, or if I'm buying from a developer that was, I'm paying 20% all day long.
Right.
You know, and there's people that will even pay more. I've seen people pay up to 30%.
Yeah, it depends how hot the market is and what can be.
I don't recommend it because, I mean, there's just too many things that I mean, there's no reason to decrease the profit with the amount of risk that you're putting out there, with money and such.
But it goes the same way with our like fix and flip formula or buy and hold formula. It's like some areas, yeah, you can sell a deal at 75% ARV. Some areas you got to sell it at 60. Some areas you can sell it at 80% still. Like even in this market, and it's like, as long as you know your market and know the numbers, like that's where that variable comes in, right? And it's funny because we're both speaking at Chris Rude's Allies Mastermind. I mean, I'm sure your presentation is going over new builds and stuff, right?
He told me he doesn't want me to put a presentation because he wants to just do like
interview style.
Interview style.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of the same way. It's like I might have a couple slides, but I think his events are like, he texted me this morning. He's like, do you want to just sit and do a interview style on stage? And I'm like, I'll either do that or I'll have like 2 slides and talk for an hour, like whatever you want me to do. I don't really care. He just wants to give the most value out there. And it is a lot of like interaction because it's, you know, 80 people. So it's not so big where you can't interact, but it's big enough where there's going to be really good questions and good value given out. But the reason I mentioned Chris is I was down it's funny you mentioned Lafayette or Louisiana. I was in Lafayette with him a month or 2 ago, and Lafayette's like one area of Louisiana that there's some stuff going on, right? And he's down there. He's like the king of Lafayette. And we went by a piece of land that he bought. I think it's 6 acres or something.
He's developing it.
But dude, it's right next to like a brand new strip mall, a brand new oil change place, a brand new car wash, and then there's this 6-acre lot, right? And he bought the lot and put all the utilities in, got all the stuff done that you're talking about, cut in the road, all this stuff. And now he's like, I've had this for 12 months. I got all this stuff done. I don't know. I'll make, you know, $700,000-800,000, $1 million on it, something like that. Just doing the due diligence work that you were just talking about. And it's like he I mean, obviously he knows Lafayette like the back of his hand. He fucking born and raised there, and he's really good at real estate. But like somebody else could have passed up that deal, that land deal.
Many people have passed
not
that deal
knowing
up.
what's going on there because they're trying to run comps and they're like, I don't know, what does 6 acres go for in this area? But he's like, no, I could just do all this due diligence for the builders, cut, do the utilities, cut the lines in, survey it, cut, chop up the lots, and now he's going to make about $1 million on it.
What people don't realize, like people say, oh, you in development, like me and my business. No, I'm not a developer. I'm a builder. I'm a home builder. A developer does the land part. The builder does everything else. So there's horizontal and there's vertical. I hate horizontal so when I say that, like I won't buy 6 acres, cut in roads, bring in water and sewer and stormwater and retention ponds. And like, it's not my thing. Maybe at retirement, I might do stuff like that, entitlement, stuff like that. It's just not my thing. I'm not set up for it. It's hard to do that and building at the same time. Most builders only build. They go vertical. They don't do the horizontal. The national builders, they're buying from developers. What happens is these developers will lock down a piece of land, reach out to who they think the buyer is going to be, what national builder is going to be the buyer, and design it per what they want their specs, and they'll put some skin in the game to kind of lock in. The developer develops develops it, does all the horizontal, and then they sell the lots off to the builder because the builders don't want to develop.
Yeah, it is two different businesses, right?
It's totally two different businesses.
And I don't think people realize that. It's like, why would somebody, do all that work and not build? It's like, well, that's their specialty. And why would a builder buy land that's already ready when they could maybe get a little bit cheaper if they just did all the development? It's like, well, that's not their not their gig. That's not their specialty.
What I do is I don't develop, I split lots and I maximize density. And density is a huge thing today for two reasons. One, there's not a lot of dirt in the urban areas where you have to start getting creative when you're building to create density. Number one. Number two, affordability. So where you might have, a half-acre lot in a downtown area, and you can build this big house for $1 million, $2 million. The cities are like, well, look, I need more affordable housing, and you could split this into 8 lots and sell them for $550 a piece, $600. That's more of their way of creating affordability.
And that's why we're seeing like the builds you're doing downtown where they're the 3-story buildings. Like there's not ranches being built downtown.
Right, no.
Right? They're going up.
We're getting airspace.
Because they're getting on smaller lots, right?
But tiny lots.
People that are living in an urban downtown area are not really, like that buyer is not necessarily like, hey, I got a family and a golden retriever, I need a big yard. It's like, no, you're living downtown because you want to be close to the city.
Yeah.
They don't really give a shit about it. Actually, a yard is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Because they're, maybe, a busy entrepreneur, or they're, a young professional, don't have a family, don't have a dog, don't have any. They're like, I don't even want to mow the grass. I just want a cool house, near downtown. So that makes sense when you see the types of builds you're doing down there. And that kind of style of house, like we see it in Chicago, like it's been going on a while there because it's so dense. But, out here, it does seem kind of like a new thing, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
But that's what we're going to see, moving forward, I think.
Exactly. And that's the other thing. It's like the type of build, knowing the type of build to build in a specific area. Like I was doing comps the other day. Actually, on another Zoom call that I just did, like the one you were on, I was doing comps. I was showing different things, and I'm like, we're on the MLS, and I'm breaking down this property versus this property, and I'm basically showing. I'm like, okay, this person sold this property for $600,000. Okay, it's 2,000 square foot, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. This person sold this one for $800,000. It's 2,000 square foot, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. What's the difference? Traditional, modern. It's crazy how much people will pay more for a certain design. Does it cost more to build this? No, you just need to know how to build it. It's that simple. And they're getting $200,000 more for their build.
For the right design.
Like I was doing the comps. I'm like, hold on a minute. I was like, this person built this traditional house. They sold it for 600. I literally just sold one a block away a year ago for 900, just under 900, and mine's modern. So
yes,
it might be different, the opposite in another market, but knowing your market and knowing how to maximize your profits.
Yeah. That's a great point. You got to know your market. You got to know what your market is telling you and what your buyers are telling you. It goes hand in hand even with the flipping too, because I had a flip just close yesterday in Goodlettsville, Tennessee, right outside of Nashville. This thing sat on the market for like 120 days. I got one offer on it and took it and ran.
Yeah, right.
And, still made 80 something grand profit on it. So it was a good deal. But there was no flip comps in this area, right?
Yeah.
So I get this deal and I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, we could put 50 grand into this thing. And, there's comps all around it selling for like 350 to 400 that aren't even rehabbed. Let me do a really nice rehab on it and put it on the market for 430, 440. But what I didn't take into consideration was what the market was telling me. And it was telling me, you don't have to do a nice rehab on this. You could just clean it, paint it, and literally just put it on the market and sell it for 380 maybe, which is actually where we ended up selling it for anyway, was 380. And we probably only had to do a $20,000, $30,000 cleanup rehab on it instead of a $50,000 rehab on it. But we're trying to be the pioneers in this area of like, no, you can rehab a house real nice and live here. And it's like, that's not what the market was telling us. Exactly. So it was a lesson learned. I mean, thank God we got it so cheap that you can't fucking lose on it. But, it was a lesson learned of definitely when you're doing rehabs, when you're doing new builds, anything, you gotta know what the market's telling you. So you're doing the right rehab, you're doing the right design on the build, the right design on the rehab. So you can either sell it faster or for more money. You're gonna have a bigger buyer pool if you have the right product out there, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I see a lot of people make that mistake. Speaking of yesterday, do you realize that we just closed on a JV deal together yesterday?
Did we?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I couldn't find a buyer. It was a very weird product, and you guys brought us a buyer.
Awesome.
And we just closed on it yesterday.
Hell yeah. Good, dude.
I just thought about that when you said yesterday.
I did not know that, but happy we could help. I mean, that's it. I mean, you're great at building brand new houses and splitting lots, and I'm good at dispo and deals.
Yep. So we had this weird property where it was two houses on one parcel. One was a single
I remember
wide.
that one.
One was
I remember assigning it. I didn't know it closed yesterday.
Yeah. It was a weird property, and it was kind of in a weird area that I didn't really. I wasn't gonna build. There wasn't no density kind of things out there, and all. It was kind of in the country. But I was trying to find a buyer for that, and it just didn't have that person. And
we had them. I mean, that's the thing with being in dispositions for so long and doing so many deals. We've done over 400 deals in 3 years, which means we're on the phone. My team is on the phone with buyers all day, every day, knowing exactly what everybody wants, especially in this area where it's like somebody sends me a deal and it's sold in a text message, a lot of times around here, because we just know exactly what our buyers are looking for. But it's that, wherever you put your time, energy, and concentration, that's what you get really good at, you know, and you've gotten really good at building houses, and now you're teaching it. And I can't wait to see you in Tennessee in a week. Yeah. And hang out with you. We're going to hang out for a few days out in Tennessee and Nashville at Chris Rude's Allies event. And I'm excited to see, where you take this next coaching opportunity to teach people, wholesalers, anybody, how to build from the ground up and help as many people as possible. Let me ask you one last question before we get out of here and get some burritos, because I'm starving. The mic can probably hear my stomach growling if we're all quiet. But because you've coached a lot in your career and you've taught a lot, and every time I get on the phone with you as a friend and ask you questions, you go above and beyond to give as much information as possible. I appreciate that about you, but I know why I coach and I love to help people and see people succeed. And it's kind of a selfish thing because it makes me feel good. I mean, making other people fucking win makes me feel good. So it is selfish, but it does help people. So be it. But I mean, what is your kind of drive and why do you like coaching so much and getting this out there? Is it because you're such an expert at it, you just need to get it out there, or is it more of a connection with your students?
Passion.
Yeah.
It's just passion. I love the satisfaction of teaching somebody something and them winning with it as well. What was I going to say about that is, passion's one. Like, I can't stop talking about it. And if you've got something so well oiled and you could put this package out and show somebody else how to do it, like, that's very super rewarding. Love it for that reason. You can edit this stuff.
No, you're fine.
I just had a thought when you were talking. I was going to say.
Yeah, I do that shit all the time.
I know. I hate that.
So when I'm in a conversation like this too, and somebody says something, I don't want to interrupt them.
I know.
I'll just keep replaying it in my head until it's my turn because I don't want to lose the thought because it's so important. Because I do that with Gio all the time. We're on a podcast. He'll say something that triggers my mind, and then after he's done talking, I'll go off on a tangent and then come back to it because I've repeated it so much. It's so hard though when you're free form and hungry and tired and old. But I think that was a great answer. Just the passion you have, and as you were saying that, I started thinking of like passion. I've never really said that word. Like, that's a great word for it, and it makes a lot of sense because I think you said well-oiled machine of like, this product, whatever you're doing so well. And that's how I get so excited about coaching. And like, I don't prepare at all when it comes to any type of content or speaking on stage. Like, when somebody's like, can you speak for an hour on stage in front of 300 people? I'm like, yep, no problem. I might take 4 minutes to gather some thoughts, but I like going up there and just
free fall
and just just giving, because I'm so passionate about it. I know so much about it. I love it. And when people see that and they feel that and you have confidence and all that passion comes out. And now I'm not switching over, but I'm adding to some of the stuff I'm doing with, and Gio has mentioned, a lot of people have mentioned this, when I work out with people and I talk about discipline, I talk about, mindset stuff and leadership and my routine, but especially in the gym, I get so excited. It just happens organically where I'm working out with somebody and they're doing an exercise and I spend 10 minutes explaining why they're doing it wrong, and this is the proper form because of this and that, and you should do it this way, and here's another exercise that would work better for you. And it's so natural because I've been doing it for 30 years almost. Yeah. And it's nothing I've ever thought I was like a coach or a teacher of because it's just my life, but I get really passionate about it. Yeah. And Gio said it the other day when I came up with this idea for this mastermind out in Arizona in September, where I'm like, we're going to have obstacle courses. We're going to have problem solving. We're going to teach leadership, what I've learned over 16 years of being an4entrepreneur, and all the sports and all the hard activities I've done and trainings I've done, all the shit I've learned from books, from, Jocko and Bedros and all this stuff. It's like, I want to feed that into the community. And it seems like it's something they want, where we can gather up in teams and accomplish goals and get through obstacles and teach why, some people succeeded because of their communication and some people didn't. Everybody's going to have walkie-talkies. And we talked about this all day yesterday. I was like fired up.
It gave you a lot of energy.
And I just had this thought 48 hours ago, and we already have like all this shit planned, and it gives me all this energy because I'm so passionate about it. And it's going to be, it's going to be a little learning and challenging experience. It's the first one I'm ever going to do. But I'm confident I can do it because I'm passionate about it. Right. And I think that's what you were getting.
Yeah, for sure. And then there's another reason. It's more of a selfish reason. One of my first coaches told me that when, I was learning different things, like you need to go out and teach what you're learning, whether it's your team or talking to the mirror, whatever. It's because when you say it out loud, you actually retain it a little bit better. When you're teaching it, it's like you're learning twice, with the whole thing. It holds you accountable and you start thinking of better ways to be able to do it.
Yes.
So that's, I think, what's also a big reason with the whole wholesaling or my beginning coaching programs that I had was it made me sharper at what I was doing.
Yes.
And made me a better entrepreneur, better craft. So yeah, when I took a couple weeks ago and I decided I was going to put this course together, I wrote out 30 pages of notes. Like literally 30, and I did it in like a day and a half, 2 days. Mm-hmm. And then I turned that into slides. And then I'm talking them through and recording all these things. And as I'm doing it, I'm like, hold on, stop. Let's edit this because you know what? We also should be, I forgot about this detail. We need to add this in here. And,
yep.
It's like, and then I'm like, oh, hold on a minute. We're not actually doing that very good in our business. Let's sharpen, yep. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so it's
dude.
like you start learning even more by coaching it. So I know some of the things, like I'm like, I don't think that every one of the people in our community should be going out and starting their own courses, but they should be teaching at RIAs. They should be teaching other,
teaching their
peers,
team, talking to their family about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything.
Just be talking about it because it sharpens your sword more.
I can't agree more with that statement. I'm so glad you said that because I feel the exact same way. When I started coaching and building a community, I've gotten so much better at my own business and holes in it. I've gotten held myself way more accountable and at a higher standard. And that was the initial thought on this discipline mastermind I'm having out in Arizona because I haven't been able to work out in 3 months because of my elbow surgery. And I'm like planning it as the date of like, all right, I'm going to be about a month into training again. Like what's going to motivate me this first month of getting back into it. And it's to hold me that mastermind is to hold me accountable to be in the best shape so I can, teach all these things, So the accountability is I'm so glad you said that because it's so true. And also just keeping your sword sharp for, and your mind sharp of when you talk about things constantly, you become such a better expert at it. And I always say it about my wholesale community because since I started the Misfits wholesaling community, like I've gotten so much better at wholesaling, at dispositions, at creative, at everything real estate, because for 4 to 5 hours a month, we're talking as a group of 50 people, all these problems, all this knowledge from everybody. I mean, it's keeping me so, sharp at what I'm teaching, and it helps in my business, every aspect of life, more coaching, speaking on stages, more events. It's been, I couldn't agree more with that statement. So passion, staying sharp and being held accountable, holding yourself accountable. I think that's key as entrepreneurs, right? Because we don't have bosses.
No,
it's we have to hold ourselves accountable. And one way to do that is coach and mentor and have a program, have a community, or put on an event.
Here's something that I do with books. You're constantly reading books, listening to books, right? And I'll listen to a book, and if I get a lot of value from that book, I'm not going to retain everything that I'm listening. I will reread it, and this time I'm going to go slow, and I'm going to take down notes. And then I'll go to somebody, my team, a RIA, whatever, our community, whatever it is, family member, and I will teach them that. And the reason why I do that is because now I'm really going to embed that information into myself.
Yeah.
So I listened to it, read it, took notes, and taught it. And it's just like,
now it's part of your ego.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I just told Gio that yesterday because he's like, because every morning I'll post a picture and I write something on Instagram on my story every single morning. And Gio's like, how do you think of this shit every single morning? Like what? And it's like, no, I read, I listen to books, I read, I listen to podcasts every morning, and that triggers my mind into what I'm being taught from a book or a podcast or something, and then I put it in my own words, and then I retain that, and it becomes part of my vocabulary or part of my, you know, my mission in life or whatever it is. So I do the exact same thing. Yeah. So yeah. Awesome, man. Well, thanks so much for coming in today and blessing the community with all your knowledge. This was obviously super fun. Yeah, always. And everybody watching, if you haven't watched our first 2 videos, go back and watch them. Listen about Thayer's career and how he got started in real estate, his wholesaling business, and then where he's at today, which we just heard about, was, you know, the new builds and teaching it. So
and listen, another thing we didn't mention that I want to say is, in the past, I've had expensive coaching programs to get involved. Like, this is a few grand to learn how to do everything that we just talked about. Yeah. And literally you can take so much out of this.
It's super affordable for literally anybody. If you've, you know, just gotten into rehabs or you want to do your first build, it's for you. If you're just wholesaling and you just want to understand, you know, the exit strategy of building new construction, splitting lots, this is for you, because you get one more deal this year, you've 20 extra money on the course, right? Totally. Because you know the exit strategy. You have all those tools in your tool belt. Exactly. So yeah, you made it super affordable for everybody. And if you want to get a hold of Terry, we'll put his Instagram in the description, Terry Thayer II on Instagram. There's a link in the bio where you guys can get the course. I'm sure they can message you on Instagram if they have any questions. But you know, Terry's been an OG in the real estate space for a long time. Somebody I've learned a lot from, continue to learn from. And when I got out to Arizona and I get my first lot, you're the first person I'm paying to help me do my first build, or maybe we can team up on it and partner up on it or something. But I'm excited because it's something I definitely want to get into. I'm going to get into out there in Arizona, and you'll be the first person I think of. So thanks so much, man. We'll go get some burritos. And thanks everybody for joining and watching. You are not normal, and we'll see you at the top.
See ya.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching my video. If you'd like to watch more videos, my playlist is right here. And if you'd like to subscribe, click down here. I'll see you guys at the top.